Hello everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Can you able to see my screen? Okay.
yes.
So we're in the second to the last section for this journey for becoming an associate cloud engineer. And so this week we are going to talk about configuring access and security. Because one thing about cloud platform and why it's very important is that security, we have been talking about deploying, configure, setting up, everything is based on security. So for this section, we are going to look into configuring of access and security. So for this agenda, we are going to talk about managing access for Cymbal Superstore cloud solution. So if for those people that have been joining us, you will be aware that Cymbal Superstore is the use case we are using for this section. So Cymbal Superstore is like e-commerce platform and they are doing logistics and supply. So for this section, we are going to talk about Cymbal access for Superstore and diagnostic question, and we are going to talk about the review and study plan. So, managing access for Cymbal Superstore. As a cloud engineer, you are expected to have some ethics whenever you are accessing a cloud platform, which we are going to look more on how we can be managing access for our cloud solution. So, in this use case, we are going to talk about Cymbal Superstore, and here we are going to talk about managing identity and access management, which is IAM, and managing service accounts. So before we go further, uh, we have a lot of scenario as a cloud engineer. You are expected to manage your assets on cloud. There are some, let me give a use case. We have a situation whereby you have a business that has been working on premises or manual and they want to migrate to cloud. That's one scenario. We have a scenario whereby we are working with the other companies. You have other departments working with your department. You want to configure access to them. We have a situation whereby you are adopting this new technology or adopting a new solution. You are using this platform. So as identity and access management is very important platform as a cloud engineer. So we have uh, we have setting up a service account for Cymbal Superstore. So earlier, like first week or second week of this section, we discussed different type of role you can assign as a cloud engineer to your users. We have basic role, we have custom role. So custom role is a good example is a predefined role. We have predefined role, which is a good example is service account. Service account is just create based on the services, you just create an role for the users and you assign permission. So this permission it's not expected to be broad, just maybe one or two permission assigned to these services and you attach it to the right resources. So you are not expected to share broad access to this particular service uh, account. So we have to create a service account, we are assigning permission to it, and we are attached to a virtual machine. This is the scenario you can attach any resources you want. So this is specifically whenever you don't trust or give like a certain level of assurance, minimum access. As a cloud engineer, you are expected to share minimum access to your users. Is either part of your developer or people that are working with the organization or third party, you are expected to give a minimum access. So here it is an environment. If you log into your console, Google Cloud Console, and you select your project, you click on IAM admin. If you see, you can see service account. So service account is used for identify particular based on services. So you click on create services. After you create your create services, you see like a form, the name of the services. So the name has like a simple convention. If you are given access to VM virtual machine, you can call it virtual machine service account. If you are given access to a storage, you call it storage service account. So good naming will give you more insight what is service account doing. So in this scenario, we have VM service account. We call it service account with customized email from the infrastructure. We give a good description, which is optional. So service account to be attached to VM for supply chain app. So this is the role of this account you are assigning for the users. And after we create it, you can see create and continue. These other are optional, but you can still assign your permission here. And here you can manage permission after you create. So immediately you create, you can create your permission and manage permission for users. And after that, you can assign for cloud. For instance, in this scenario, we're assigning cloud SQL. If you assign only cloud SQL to the for cloud SQL, you select the role you want it to play. You can see, if you mouse over on this, you can see some little description of this role. Role allow access to cloud SQL instance. So we have viewers just to view, but they can able to alter, modify the resources. We have editor, we have client, we have admin. Based on the role, mind you, you are expected to give a minimum access to the cloud. And we have the R to VM instance. So we have this identity where you want to access the infrastructure to. So we have some diagnostic question whereby we are going to talk about more about services. So manage identity and access management. So manage identity and access management dealing with the IAM policies. So if you are creating your organization, you can have divine policy, you can have organization policy, you can have role policy. So the policy is the rules that is guiding the access to your infrastructure. So this says manage the various role type and define the custom. So we have these are the popular one. We have basic. We have admin, editor, sorry, owner, editor, viewers, and basic. So these four are the basic assets, which is broad. You are not advisable as a cloud engineer to assign someone this type of assets. We have predefined. Predefined is based on Google predefined this access for the users. Just more like if you're accessing a custom VM, some access will be automatically predefined for you. We have custom and the one more of like service account whereby you are expected to assign resources to the users and to give them some level of permission. Here we have a question. I will not able to trace the question because of basic intro. Here we are talking about assigning access to member using IAM. So in here we have these are the typical way you can IAM to your infrastructure. We have Google account whereby I put my username at gmail.com to access my cloud, or using service account, which I talked about infrastructure you are trying to create at the Google service account.com, which are generally used for service accounts. We have Google. Google Group is useful for whenever you have a group of role. Let's say you have a front, you have backend, you have DevOps. So this group is you just create an account and you add people, and this certain group will have same access to the same infrastructure. So these are the difference. And we have cloud identity or Google Workspace. There are scenarios whereby an organization, a company are trying to work together. So you can subscribe for Google Workspace domain or cloud identity. Maybe you are working on AWS or you are working on third party uh, access. You can use this platform to be able to access your on your Google Cloud. So cloud identity is mostly just for third party like AWS or Oracle Azure, and give it access on Google Cloud. So this is useful for public infrastructure migration, and this is for grouping whenever you have a group of team or a group of department and just want to assign them a particular services. And we have service accounts whereby you just want to let's say for instance you want to give access for auditing at the end of the year for your infrastructure or for your data, or like a data science, you can just create a service account and give the permission on data BigQuery alone, and we are fine. And Google account is for individual, mostly for individual. So these are the ways you can create your AI IAM for your infrastructure. So we have assign role in the IAM interface. So if you click on the IAM on the dashboard, you can able to see different services, different role, and you are expected to create the email. We have email user1@gmail.com, and you are expected to select the role. What are the roles? We have different roles, and we have uh, uh, key functionality. We have creator, we have viewer. You are expected to go through the documentation to know the right role you are assigned to, or you mouse over it, you can see access to create objects in Google GCS. So this based on the role, you have to understand the role as a cloud engineer before you assign the role. So we have creating a custom role. Creating a custom role is based on the services, based on the resources. So here we have, mostly it's going to be like the first two is going to be like the instances, the resources we are talking about. We have compute. Compute means we are dealing with compute engine, and what part of compute engine instances. So this compute dot instance dot get meaning is going to get the details about a particular instance, just basic information. Compute.instance is going to list all the instances in that particular project. Compute.instance.start is going to start instance. Stop is going to stop instance. So in this scenario, we are creating a group, Google group, whereby we can create a workspace, create a lot of accounts in this Google group, and assign instance operator roles, assign them this role, and attach it to a particular project we are using. So these are the things as a cloud engineer. This is the better way, best way that you assign a project and a role. And you can, this is give us flexibility. You can assign multiple projects to particular group. This give you a better management. So these are the courses that talked about IAM. IAM is a very sensitive thing because anytime you are working for a company, you will be testing about how your security, how your skill about working with third parties are solid. So your solid, your ability to secure and manage your access is key thing about cloud as a cloud engineer. So this we have infrastructure, which is going to talk about and put agent. Compute agent is one of the things that we are they focus on as the infrastructure management access. So and coins services to which management of the IAM. So all this is going to talk and we talk on the skill batch, we are talking about developing cloud networking. Because this with security on networking, IAM is very, very important here, and we have the documentation talked about this. Documentation is very important. Even before you take application or any interview, you are advised to go through this because there are some sensitive information that's being shared in the documents. So whenever creating your service account, there are some certain things you are expected to do. Creating service account, so there's this consideration whenever you are creating access, you are expected to create minimum permission. So if you are just of creating minimum permission, you are expected to do creating service account, create service account based on the uh, role of the users, if scientists, data engineer, therefore create a minimum access for them. And this, based on this service account, another advantage is that you will, some can be able to act it. It can be hacked, it can be hijacked. So consider you are creating a normal email for third party. The email address, they can hijack the email and have access to your infrastructure. But if you're using service account, you are just give one time key which is going to expire soon. So this is more secure compared using normal email address or Google email address for your access to your infrastructure. So creating service accounts is that's the one of the benefits of service account. Using service accounts in IAM with minimum permission. So anytime you are creating access, you expect to use minimum permission. In fact, in most of your setup, you expect to use minimum permission for your access infrastructure. Assign services to the resources. So this services data is being created and you give minimum permission. You can assign it to minimum resources. You can assign it to compute engine, storage, cloud run. Based on the services the user is expected to access and manage IAM of a service account. You can manage it, you can revoke. We have the credentials. After then, user can create and manage short-lived service account credentials. So at any time, you can able to revoke it based on the user's access. Let's say if someone is doing auditing, after the end of the year, you can revoke the access. So it's simple to do compared to other means of accessing the cloud infrastructure. So we have the flow of accessing. We have create, use, and assign account. So if you are creating service account, these are the flow. You have to create the service account, which this is more of like using an CLI to create, using a CLI to create the account, service account. We are adding the port to the service account to the infrastructure, to the resources, Google Compute instance, and attach service to Compute instance to be able to create. That's the simple flow. You create the service account, you assign access to it, the patch resources to it. So for this resources, this will manage the relation to this place. So moving forward, type of key. So there are different ways and able to access infrastructure. Some API. So a popular Google Map, push notification, pops up, anything that require API key. And another benefit is you can restrict it later by revoking the API key. So this one means of accessing the authentication keys. And we have AOAuth 2.0 client. This is very latest version of authentication whereby you give access to private data on your infrastructure. So this has some secret and private key whereby you can use it to generate a token. Is more secure compared to this. And whenever you are sharing infrastructure, especially third-party infrastructure with users. And we have environment provided service account. So environment provided is based on the to access resources with a service account internal to Google Cloud. So this is more of like an internal service, like whenever you are using VPN, access like a on-prem cloud infrastructure. This is a very good use case for it. And we have service account key. So to access resources with service account side of Google Cloud. So this for just have access to your infrastructure. In most of the time, if you are answering your question on Google Cloud, you are expected to give a scenario and you give the best authentication key. As an engineer, you are expected to choose the best option. And we have these are the courses we are using to be able to access our cloud. So I think earlier, and authentication as a service and service account. So how you can generate your key, how you can able to use it to access your infrastructure. As an API, as a CLI, this still works. So let us do some knowledge check. So I think we are at the end of the session. So what kind of account is meant for machine to machine communication? in Google Cloud. So definitely service account, because it's not owned by any other person. It's created by the machine to have access to it. User accounts is normal, like normal personal accounts. Google Workspace is still an account. Cloud Identity is third party, but this is created by the Google Cloud for your access to the Google infrastructure. And we have your authenticate and application to service API key, both internal to cloud environment, what type of credential you expect to use. So this is should be credentials which we talked about this earlier, this environment. So it's going to temporary credentials for the accessing of the cloud, because why after some time it's an environment, after some time you can revoke the access. So as before let us go through some practical part of it. Um, okay. So I'm signing with my Google account. So in this scenario, we have some okay. I am. So for the people, okay, this is some tips for those people that are just planning to take exam certification this year. I'm advise you to go through the labs environment, because Google, let me ACE certification. So let's so for these courses that talked about a lot of labs and courses that talk IAM. So short ones, we have the one. Okay, so so for the certification, but so if you grow into understand on how it works, so this is step by step works. So we have different things you can get access to your cloud console, as we have said in this. Uh, we have console, which is simple environment like this, using web browser to access. We have terminal. So okay, I think I can able to show you the terminal too. So okay, so these are the courses available, whereby you can be able to step by steps on creating of IAM and able to access. So these are the basic roles I talked about earlier: editor, owners, and viewers. Whereby it is a broad, you are not advised to share this type of role with your users, because of the security of your infrastructure. You are expected to use service accounts, or if you have a group of guys, developer or group of team working with you as a cloud engineer, you expect to create a group account for them and adding them and give them the same access to the infrastructure. Uh, so these are people for your uh, okay, uh, where people access. So SQL on your terminal. If you really like working with your terminal, we have a way we can set up of terminal with cloud SDK platform web enter from to uh, have the same access, same to which you can able to share. So using window and where you can install OS, you can able to so I really plan this, especially whenever you are planning certification. Example, easy to do. So we have this install Google, whereby you can able to install. So it supports different programming language. It starts if you are running Java, C++, Python, Node.js, Ruby, and we have scripts. So it has scripts resources. So it's way more interactive compared to normal terminal, whereby you can use case. So these are the use cases we are able to use it. If you are able to, if you are familiar, if you are a developer, you are doing coding, you don't have to come to the log into the terminal to see what is going on. You can able to do it. Sorry, you don't want to be going to console to see what is going on. You can able to run it on your terminal. So this is the documentation. So this is where you can able to set it up for the people that are using Mac OS. If you are logging in with Windows, you can use this to set it up. I've stopped sharing. Sorry. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. We have different Linux. You can set it up. And if you're using Ubuntu, you can run it. If you're using other OS, other Linux version, you can able to set it up. Mac OS, Windows, and Chrome, you set it up locally. So to confirm if you set up, you can open your terminal. So this is your terminal, and you can able to this is the process for the people that are using Mac OS. You can just or use this particular and install it, and you can after you install, you can type in this and to confirm if the install is successful. So gcloud ends. So this is a terminal, and for the first time, your environment may be different. You may ask to sign up for the first time. If you want to sign up, just gcloud again. So installing initial configuration. This connect. The benefits of having a control also because it's much stressful and it's manually logging track. From here, you can get your error, your feedback. Google just a new product Google just launched called Gemini. People I know a lot of us are familiar with Gemini CLI. So Gemini CLI, if you were able to Gemini CLI and yeah, user console give it more interactive, whereby you can use your Gemini CLI to do your deployment automatically. So environment here, I can able to select, so I can able to select the project. What type of depend on the project I want to select based on the number. I'm using 11. So I'm switching to the project 11. Same as default compose region. I'm using yes. And if you wish to change, so I can able to use Central 1, US Central 1, C, which is 8. So yeah, we are good to go now for any deployment. And if you need help, you can just use gcloud dash help, and you can see a lot of information here with. So you can able to read if you are doing different terror, you can able to interact with it. Okay, so we have different products. You can able to read more information about the documentation, everything. If you are if you really like the, and at times if you're a cloud engineer, you may not be given the full access to this console. You may be given a service account to be able to access this type of platform. So this you can able to access it, can able to give you the so you can see here we have different services available on Google and in full description. We have RPG managing RPG resources. We have a lot of resources, a lot that is available for you to use. Just go to documentation, and this flow is what makes you to become expert because you are working you need to understand better on your structure. I will advise you cloud SDK or it can help do your deployment, to be able to track, to be able to make your work easier. Do you have any before final one? When was it? Another one
No, we
we
have question.
can still
Huh?
assess your.
Okay, we haven't questions, so let's continue. And you can,
So
if you want, you can share links on labs. I shared link on your previous lab, and you can share also if you want.
okay. Mm, okay. So
Great.
that's it. So another way we can able to access, deploy, and manage our infrastructure on cloud is you can use API. So an API, REST API is another way you can able to deploy and manage some infrastructure. So here we have, based on the role, we have different API. In as much you have the right access, you can API to access your infrastructure based on the Google Cloud. So we have O2 Scope for authenticate from the cloud, and you can use the path and able to fetch the information on your request. So these are the things we use as cloud engineers who have scenarios on the use you can able to use. So the request you are given and which is the access to access your project. So this is very useful meant whenever you're working with a lot of projects whereby we have a launch just what is or you can use consulting with mega budget. It's advisable to SDK AI, which is cheaper and faster to do, and it's more uh we have shell which is another environment cloud for you like a cloud is using on local machine you are using on. So these are the things we use as engineer, and we have a lot of rapid growth on the cloud infrastructure. Let me give you an instance. We have a time of changing of resource. So Google is updating their platform as a cloud engineer just as much as possible. You go through the documentation so you can get a better insight. And you have something like is really encouraging. So your achievements can be you can be having one strike, like you have and we have an achievement. This can give you your progress. And Google has uh, done a skill where you can able to show your assessments to you and on LinkedIn, share it on LinkedIn, which is your profile portfolio. Even though you don't have a certificate, you can still share with the community based on your achievement. So that is my that's the end of today. If you have any question, yeah, any question?
No, just Kate haven't access to presentation, but don't worry, I will share with you. I lost her email, so when she shared with me her email, I will share.
Okay,
Because from presentation, I will do just necessary links for our labs. Yes, because
okay,
we can't share this presentation. Yes, just links from it. So, no, we haven't questions for now, so don't worry.
okay. So no problem. Thank you, everyone.
So, okay, Kate shared with me link. I shared with her this presentation, entire presentation. And to other attendees, no, I can't share with you. Sorry. Kate, I know her and she Googled, she is speaker. So she has this certificate, so I can share with her. With other, no, I can't. Okay. And Sakit, did you finish for today's session? We can stop
Yes,
recording. Okay.
yes.
I stop recording. I